Hey, Shalom. Call all Yabashim Shabashim Kakadash. The honest apostles, the elders of great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim. Preaching and teaching across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. See if we. Oh, okay, I'm good. Hey, Shalom. Just a quick one. Article I was reading. You know, of course, we have to be circumspect. We have to watch what's going on, because that's going to give us a good idea of what's about to happen. It sounds simple, but you still got a lot of Israelites who are asleep. A lot of Israelites not paying attention, caught up in the ways of this world. And even, like I just tuned in, to make a long story short, to a so-called black radio, and they're talking about nothing but folly. They're talking about concerts, summer rap concerts, summer parties, all of this bullshit. You go on social media, everybody's talking about, once again, partying and bullshit, going to pool parties or whatever, going to cookouts. Meanwhile, you got Esau way at the top of the society making power moves and sending out messages. Like this particular one, a generation of Americans. And another thing on that, if you just listen to the radio, the so-called black radio, for 5 minutes, then turn on one of those left-wing radio stations, or turn on NPR, and just notice the difference in the quality of information that you're getting. Notice the difference in what exactly they're saying. But going back to this, yeah, because our people, once again, folly is set in great dignity. That's why you have grown men on the radio doing prank calls, and you got fags on there. It's folly. This is folly set in great dignity. Meanwhile, this shit for these Edomites is getting real. Here it is. They came here, right? They conquered. They fought, killed, and enslaved us. They formed their empire. They had their little 5 minutes of fame. And now, a lot of these Edomites are doing real bad. The middle class has been destroyed. Basically, these Edomites are at a point where they're either going to become upper class, or they're going to come down here with Israelites and become lower class. And then, you know, once they become lower class, they become Democrats. But let me see. Okay, I'm good. Just to go into this real quick, a generation of Americans is entering old age the least prepared in decades. Low incomes, paltry savings, high debt burdens, failed insurance. The U.S. is upending decades of progress in securing life's final chapters. And this is this generation was a generation of pride for Esau. These are the baby boomers. These are the people after the people who came from the war. These are the people who came back and they boomed, baby boomers. This is Esau, the old school generation. Now we're at Generation Z, which is hopefully the final generation. And this is Isaiah 59:1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ears heavy, that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, your fingers with iniquity, your lips have spoken lies, your tongue hath muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. They hatch cockatrice eggs and weave the spider's web. He that eateth of the eggs dieth, and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper. Yeah, exactly. That's all of that is poisonous. A cockatrice, I believe that's a what's it called? Fictitious animal, but it's real poisonous though. And like I say, he that eateth of the eggs dieth, because of poison, and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper, which is also poison. So it's all poison. Their webs shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wasting and destruction are in their paths. The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. And that's what's going on with Israel right now. We're going on a crooked path, and they don't know peace, because you know, starting from a young age, you might learn the ways of the neighborhood or the people around you, but as far as you knowing what your path is going to be, and you know what judgment you're supposed to apply, that's not something that's given to you, because you don't have that connection with your Father. There is judgment far from us, neither doth justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity for brightness, but we walk in darkness. We grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as in the night. We are in desolate places as dead men. We roar all like bears and mourn sore like doves. We look for judgment, but there is none, for salvation, but it is far off from us. That's right, and this is Isaiah talking about the judgments that are put against us, basically. And going back to this though, because this is something that's going to affect all of us. Just want to get it in this. Americans are reaching retirement age in worse financial shape than the prior generation. For the first time since Harry Truman was president, this cohort should be the cusp of the golden years. But instead, their median incomes, including Social Security and retirement funds, haven't risen in years after having increased steadily in the 50s. So they haven't increased steadily since the 50s. They have high average debt, are often paying off children's educations, dipping into savings. The 401k will bring in under $8,000 a year for a household of two, which that ain't shit. $8,000 a year. More than 40% of households headed by people 55 through 70 lack sufficient resources to maintain their living standard in retirement. And so basically, this is the state of the people who are older now. Like a lot of them are still on the job site. They still got to work in this wicked ass kingdom. And you know, if we really were to go on like we're going on, this is gonna, by the time my generation, which is Generation Y, by the time we get to be this age, to this position, it's gonna be looking bad too. It's gonna be looking real bad. And that's the type of shit that America has created. This is a creation of America. Because once again, if you're not on the top here, you're on the bottom pretty much. And so, hey, you shouldn't be looking for a way to make it in this place. Because this shit, even if you have money, this is still going to affect you, because you're going to have people around you. That's how neighborhoods become prone to crime, criminal activity. People turn to that as a way to try to get out of debt, to try to get, you know, to another level, but it never works out. They end up getting caught up in the system anyway. And this is just showing families, percentage of families with heads aged 55 or older with debt. 1992 was about 50, 53 or whatever that is. Then it went down a little bit, and it constantly kept going up to that recession year, 65%. Now it's above 70, it looks like. And then, I mean, shit, it's 2018, in a couple of years, that's going to be at 100% at the rate that it's going. Yeah, debt per capita for people aged 60 to 69, adjusted for inflation, student loan and auto debt, which is crazy. So let's see what's gonna happen though, according to the scriptures. Verse 16, and he saw that there was no man, and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness is sustained him. For he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and a helmet of salvation upon his head, which is the scriptures. And he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing, and was clad with zeal as a cloak. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will pay recompense. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemies shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Lord. So that's what's going to happen. Basically, for those who put on their righteousness, that breastplate, once the enemies come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard. But for those who don't do that, who accept the mark of the beast, they're going to be destroyed. Everybody in this little system who's, you're already getting hustled, you're already getting shortchanged by Esau, but now once he gets to a certain point and he tries to activate that New World Order, and the Lord comes back and lifts up a standard against that and puts that protection upon his men, then you're going to be destroyed. So you're going to be getting fucked over twice. And what does it say? As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith the Lord. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of the seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed's seed, saith the Lord, from henceforth and forever. That's right. So once he does that, we're going to have that righteous heart. Yep, arise, shine, for thy light is coming. The glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. Like you say, man, right now we're in this stage. The darkness shall cover the earth. This place is full of darkness. Everybody being poor in debt under under Esau's debt system, which creates slaves. Under his central banking, which, the Rothschilds, they got a central bank in every fucking country damn near in the world, except for 2, I believe. And all of this, if you just read through, it's all stories, different people telling stories. Look, this is what's going on with me. This is what's going on with. But look, they're buying into this system. Hey, these people, they played the game with Esau, and now they're what they're at. They're in the trap now. They got all these bills on the table. So when the time comes that Esau makes his proposal for you getting the microchip, whether it be relief from the very stuff that he laid out himself, relief from debt or whatever, which that's most likely what the chip is going to include, or some sort of further future discount in exchange for being incorporated, being part of his system, then all these people are going to jump at it, because it's a thing, that's a tactic he uses: pressure from above, pressure from below, including this, psychoactive drugs, pills and more pills. Ain't no sitting up and relaxing in this society. People are struggling. So hey, that's where we at, man. Gross, the darkness is over the earth right now. Gross darkness, the people. and especially in St. Louis, Missouri. I gotta keep saying that because it's a gross darkness. It's gross. It's all over. Um, like it says, the Lord is going. The Lord shall arise. Excuse me. The Lord shall arise upon thee, and His glory shall be seen upon thee. So hey, going through the day in and day out struggle. You go through your ups, your downs, your times where you're in situations, or times where you're even blessed. But one thing you got to remember: this is all a path to get to this point where the Lord comes back and He arises and He lifts up a standard, and He has commandments and things for us to do that we're supposed to do. And it's just it's a light affliction for now, but I'm just making this video to say, man, if you're watching and you're having struggle, or you're going through it and sometimes you can't quite see it, it says it right here. And you got to have faith and you got to trust in this. If the Most High did all of this stuff, He has to do what He says He's going to do. He has to do the prophecies that He sent unto these men that are written into the scriptures. This stuff has to happen. This place, America, has to go down. The system has to go down. The men of the Lord, they have to go through persecution. Some might die. Some might go out into the wilderness or whatever happens. Some might go into jail. All of this stuff has to happen for us to get to this point. While you're doing that, make sure we keep our integrity as men of the Lord. We keeps ourselves up, even though this world can't weigh you down. That's where fasting, praying, and keep meditating upon the scriptures comes in. With that being said, I just want to do a quick one. All praise to Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bashem Kwakada, Shalom to Yuaki. Shalom.